Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hello everyone. We are from Group 3 and today we will present to you our final project which is the Jamaluddin charges farm dispute case. What is Fara'id? Fara'id is the Islamic inheritance system that ensures wealth is distributed fairly among Muslim herds based on fixed share outlined in the Quran and Hadith. Its main purpose is to protect family members, ensure just asset distribution, and reduce disputes. In Malaysia, the process starts at the Sharia court, which issues a foreign certificate to confirm heirs and their respective share. The High Court or Land Office then manage the transfer of the property and asset. To streamline estate management, tools like hibah, wasiat, and takaful are often used alongside faraid. From a financial standpoint, faraid help promote intergenerational wealth transfer, strengthens family financial stability, and provide clarity in estate planning. However, challenges such as distribution delays, complex case with many heads, and low financial literacy among beneficiaries can still arise. Okay, next, the next presenter will discuss this issue in more detail and explore the consequences faced in the application of faraid.
Next, the current issue of the Faraid in Malaysia. Jamaluddin Jarjis was a well-known politician who passed away in a helicopter crash in 2015. His estate was very large, worth more than 2 billion, making it one of the biggest inheritance cases in Malaysia. The case involved his mother, his widow, and his children, and it showed the challenges of applying Faraid in modern time. After that, faraid and heir rights. In Islamic law of faraid, heir receive fixed share. For example, a mother get one seed, a wife get one egg, and the children inherit the rest, where son get double the share of daughters. However, before faraid can be applied, the court must decide what assets are actually part of the estate. In JJ case, this become the main source of dispute. Next, dispute over company share. His mother, Aminah Abdullah, argued that some company share were not included in the estate. So, she wanted share from 3 companies, which are Rantai Wawasan, Alpin Motion, and Ivory Insight. The court agreed with her that the Rantai Wawasan share worth over 1 billion must be included in the estate, but her claim for the other 2 companies were rejected because there was not enough proof. So this decision was challenged in the Court of Appeal and later in the Federal Court, but both courts upheld the ruling. Next, widow claim matrimonial property. Meanwhile, the widow, Puan Sri Dr. Kasum Ismail, also made a claim. She argued that half of all assets acquired during their marriage, worth about 2.1 billion, should belong to her as matrimonial property. This was separate from her faraid entertainment. So this shows how faraid and matrimonial property law can overlap. Her case was later settled amicable in 2024, although his details was not made public. And last, legal procedural challenges. The mother also accused the estate administrator, JJ Children, of leaving out other assets such as 21 million in bank accounts. She filed several suits, but some were dismissed by the court due to res judicata, meaning the matter had already been decided. So this shows how inheritance dispute can be very complicated, involving multiple lawsuits and long delays. In fact, almost 10 years after his death, many parts of the estate are still unresolved. Last but not least, legal significance. From this case, we can see several important lessons. First, court must first determine what asset belong to the estate before faraid can be applied. Second, a widow may claim both far-age share and matrimonial property. Third, administrator must disclose all assets to avoid lawsuit. Fourth, civil and Sharia court often overlap in inheritance dispute. And last, complex estate can take many years to resolve, leaving asset frozen. In summary, the Jamaluddin judge's case show that Y48 provide fixed share for heirs. Applying it in modern estate with billion of ringgit company share and properties can be very complex. So, this case highlight the importance of proper estate planning, transparency, and tools like hibah, wasiyah, or trust to prevent family conflicts in the future.
Next, I will explain consequences of the issue Jamaluddin Jarji's estate dispute. So the first consequence is legal delays in asset distribution. The Jamaluddin Jarji's case, which started in 2018, dragged on for years before it was finally settled. This delay happened because the estate was very complicated. It included company shares, overseas properties, and claims of matrimonial property. The Sharia court had to carefully decide which assets were subject to Fara'id. All of this made the process slower. As a result, the heirs had to wait a very long time to receive their rightful shares, which created uncertainty and frustration. The second consequence is family conflict and breakdown of relationships. The late Jamaluddin's widow, children, and mother each had different claims and interpretation of their rights. The dispute over inheritance and matrimonial property led to mistrust and serious conflict. What we see here is that inheritance battles are not only about money, but they can also break family bonds and damage relationships that should have been preserved. The third consequence is financial burden on beneficiaries. A case like this requires very high legal fees, administrative costs, and other expenses. This reduces the total value of the estate that is eventually distributed. At the same time, family members who depend on the estate had to manage their daily expenses, education costs, and even business commitment without access to those assets. This shows how inheritance dispute can create serious financial strain. The fourth consequence is disruption of business and asset management. Because part of the estate involved company shares and international investment, the dispute creates confusion about who had control. This uncertainty affects business operation and even reduce investor confidence. So, the impact was not limited to the family, but it also spread to the business world and the wider economy. The fifth consequence is emotional and psychological stress. The family members endure years of stress, frustration, and anxiety throughout this long dispute. On top of that, the case received a lot of public and media attention, which made things even harder for them. This highlights the hidden cost of inheritance dispute, the emotional suffering which in many cases can be just as damaging as financial loss. The final consequence is public trust and confidence in the legal system. The trial took many years and some part of the proceeding were closed to the public. This raised questions about fairness and transparency. Situations like this risk lowering public confidence in the Sharia court system. At the same time, this case reminds Malaysians of the importance of proper estate planning, such as preparing wills or using hibah, to prevent similar disputes in the future.
Now, I would like to share some recommendations on how we can improve the inheritance system and reduce family conflict. My first recommendation is to encourage estate planning and wasiah. Many family fight over inheritance happen because there is no will. By making a wasiah that follows Sharia and civil law, families can avoid confusion and arguments. The second recommendation is to have a clear definition of matrimonial property. In the Jamaluddin Jarji case, the problem was not knowing what counts as matrimonial property. If the law gives clear rules, the widow, children, and parents don't need to argue about it. The third recommendation is to promote the use of hibah and trust. Court cases can take years and stress the family. Hibah or trust allow wealth to be given during the owner's lifetime. This makes things clear and avoid fights later. The fourth recommendation is to make mediation mandatory before going to court. Going to court costs a lot and can hurt family ties. Mediation should come first because it's faster, cheaper, and keep peace in the family. And the last recommendation is to strengthen transparency in court processes. Privacy matters, but too much secrecy makes people lose trust. Court can share simple summary of cases without private detail so people understand the process while still protecting family.
In conclusion, this case shows how complex estate dispute can be in Malaysia. We can see delay, family conflict, high legal costs and stress when there is no clear planning. The lesson here is that people should plan yearly using tools like wasiat and hibah to avoid such problems. Inheritance is not only about money but also about family peace and trust. This project reminds us that early planning is very important to protect both wealth and harmony.